Welcome to the Dark Reading News Desk. Terry Sweeney here, contributing editor to Dark Reading, and we're coming to you from Google's There's No Place Like Chrome event in New York City. Joining me now is Lauren Hujak, a head of customer engineering with Google. Lauren, thanks so much for doing the news desk today.
You bet, Terry. I'm thrilled to be here.
The threat landscape, as we know, is constantly evolving. New kinds of ransomware and phishing attacks getting more sophisticated all the time. No small thanks to AI. Talk about how Chrome Enterprise and Chrome OS are helping organizations navigate this extremely dynamic environment.
Yeah, you brought up a really interesting point there, which is the threat landscape. It has always continued to evolve,
Sure.
but it's doing so much more rapidly. And so we're at the point now where we've kind of solved a lot of the what I call like the silicone-based problems. But now what's happening is all of these carbon-based problems where a lot of people are being duped or they're being um, tricked into divulging their credentials or something like that. For a lot of these attackers, it's a lot easier simply to trick somebody into divulging their credentials than it is to try and do a pen test or a DDoS attack or something like that, which takes huge amounts of resources. And so these technologies are designed to kind of assist best practices that we're putting in place that we hope people are practicing anyway, but also technological elements in there that kind of guide people in the right direction. So one of those examples would be Google Safe Search. One of the things that Google does, I like to call it, it's like our side hustle is Google has this search engine. And in our effort to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful, we index the entirety of the internet. And in so doing, we maintain a database of sites that are known or suspected to be involved in nefarious things. And so if you unexpectedly think you're doing the right thing, but click on a site that's trying to steal your credentials, we'll alert you of that. And as an administrator, you can actually prevent your users from proceeding to that to begin with. So that's just one of the many types of controls that we're building into this to help solve that problem.
Of course. Pivoting slightly, talk about the security advantages that organizations might expect as they invest all across the Google portfolio.
So a lot of organizations are moving to a web-based or a SaaS-based type of organization where all of the apps are less thick client on the machine, more browser-based, web-based, progressive web apps, those types of things. And so as that's happening, what's we're seeing is that the browser, which was once like, oh, I'm going to use this to research something on the internet or just browse the web, that is now the common conduit through which a lot of business is done. It's kind of the intersection point. And so because of that, we can now enforce a lot of controls on that same plane instead of all these patchwork systems to say, well, I got to encrypt this desktop and I got to fix this virus protection on this machine. If we do it all at the browser level, it doesn't really matter what the endpoint is. It doesn't matter if you're on a mobile device. If we can use that as our common conduit, then we can enforce a lot of controls, a lot of policies. We can do a lot of proactive security mechanisms.
Sure.
So these are the types of things that not just Chrome Enterprise Premium is providing, but also Chrome OS, a lot of our SEM, a lot of the DLP, all those things are enacted at the browser level, primarily because that SaaS-based environment is what, the transformation that a lot of organizations are pursuing.
Sets up this conduit
It's
and also
great.
controls both ends of this virtual client server environment.
Exactly. End to end.
Okay. Wow. That's pretty compelling.
I would tend to think so. Yes, I agree with you.
In security, we hear a lot about the weakest link, and I'm curious what that means to you as a Googler, and what's your sense of how Google helps organizations address their own weak links within their own IT infrastructure.
Yeah. Uh, it's almost always the people, right? I think something on the order of like 80% of security breaches can be traced back to the individual actions of a person, either as a malicious actor or somebody who think they might be doing a good job as a corporate citizen. Like, oh yes, I do need to respond to this security email, and then find out that in the act of doing something that they thought was responsible, ended up exposing a lot of corporate data, DLP, those types of things. In terms of what are we doing to help that or that weakest link? Not always the human being. So we have to account for, what types of things can we put in place to help people make the right decisions, and also educate people on making what those right decisions are, so that even if there is a misstep in one spot, even if there is a breach in another spot, it can quickly be detected, it can quickly be responded to, it can quickly be addressed and ameliorated before something does.
Are you sure you want to click on that?
Yes, something like that. Or are you sure you want to go to this
Yeah.
website because we know it's going to do something wrong? Or, gee, I'm sorry, Terry, you just entered your corporate password in a non-corporate owned site. You are now required to change your password within X number of days,
Wow.
because we don't want that password out there in the open for somebody else on a less secure site to be able to compromise and then try and come back to your corporate environment and use that to gain access.
What can be added to training to strengthen the equation and tilt the playing field in the direction of the end user or the organization?
This concept of zero trust, right? The idea that we never trust, we always verify every step of the way. Is this machine configured in this particular way? Does it have the most recent updates? Does it have this kind of configuration? What is this person trying to do? Who are you? What organization are you part of? Are you who you say you are? Okay, based on what you're trying to do, we're going to grant you access to this type of data, but not this type of data.
All right. Well, Lauren, you've left me with a curious mix of both hope and anxiety. So
Good.
I think that's a win for both of us.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah, you never want to get complacent, right? So if you just assume that, hey, this technology is going to solve this problem for me, then you've already lost.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks so much for joining us today.
You bet. Thanks, Terry.
We've been talking with Lauren Hujak of Google. This has been Terry Sweeney for the Dark Reading News Desk. Thanks for joining us for this segment. We'll see you next time.